It was just game on.
Yeah.
We were all just pranking each other.
The most notable prank that I believe are the 2000 crickets that I turned loose in your bedroom.
And I walk in and open up my room, and there's so many of them. It looked like the floor was moving.
We went into Topher's bedroom. It was like 3 a.m. We threw a gallon of water on him and a pound of flour.
Yes. And you lift straight up. What the hell? We took off running.
The following is a production of Dirty Mo Media. All right, everybody. So I got a unique guest for today's show. Josh Schneider's my buddy, my friend. We've been pals for all of my adult life. He was on briefly in some moments of the Earnhardt documentary as a guest being interviewed. And I thought it'd be a good time to bring him on and let you get to know him. Awesome guy. You ever have one of those friends that you feel like you've experienced everything with, that has made your life better, that you want to introduce everybody to, that you want to celebrate? Well, Josh is one of those friends for me. So sit back, enjoy it, and he's a hell of a guy, a lot of fun. All right, so it's great to have Josh here on the Dale Jr. Download, and Josh, I'm excited to talk to you. One of my best friends for all of my adult life, at least. And if you haven't seen the the Earnhardt documentary on Prime, Josh has a couple of moments in there where he did a long interview for the folks for that documentary, and they used a little bit about what you said. But thanks for doing this, Josh. Thanks for being here.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. It's cool to catch up with you.
Yeah, it's been a while. We don't see each other these days as often because you live in the middle of the country and I live on the East Coast. You moved away from the Carolinas. We'll get into that later, but let's talk about. So Josh is part of the original Dirty Mo posse, and we had a steak brander that somebody gave me. Now, everybody that's listening to this interview, listen, these times are different today. Take yourself back to 2004-ish.
Yeah, I think 04, 05-ish when we did that.
Yeah, things were a little crazier back then. We were younger and dumber. And somebody gave us a steak brander to brand steaks with the DMP logo on it. It's just letters, DMP. That's all it said. Not a real designed logo. But we were drunk one night and thought, let's brand our arms DMP. We are proud of being part of the Dirty Mo posse, this group of friends. And so we'll brand ourselves. Josh, you were the first person to get branded. You were the one who said, I'll go first.
I know.
None of us. We were going to heat this thing up with a torch, a little torch. We heated it up cherry red. Well, and you were like, go for it.
Well, remember we practiced on the wooden chair first.
Oh, we did?
Yeah. I mean, well, this is probably 3 or 4 in the morning.
Yes.
And so, nothing good ever happens after 2 a.m., but
yeah.
Brandon does. So I'm like, well, let's try it on and it didn't seem to really bother the chair that bad. So I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. But what's so bad is I still have it, but the first one's a blob. I don't know if you can see a little bit, but
okay, it's still there.
Because you remember, Sonny was like, I don't know if we got the D right. I don't know. So we did it again.
Oh.
And it scabbed up so bad that I had to go to the doctor. Well, I was at a doctor for like a physical because it was December. So January, you go to your doctor for your annual physical. And pus was leaking through my shirt.
Gross.
Through the thing. And he's like, what's up with your arm? And I didn't want to tell him. And during the physical, they have you like raise your arms up and stuff where I couldn't raise my arm up. I was like this. So he's like, what did you do? And he's like, oh my gosh, this could be infected, blah, blah, blah. And flipped out. I'm like, man, I thought it'd be better than getting a tattoo.
Golly.
Then we went back and had to get it done again because I wanted to be done right since all my
You wanted it to look right.
Yeah.
So we did a second one below that.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was that didn't hurt as bad.
I remember that we did it, right? And it stung bad, right? It hurt like you would imagine initially. But then, like, after about a minute, it was fine. It didn't hurt at all. And then, like, days later, when it scabbed up, you couldn't move it. Like, it hurt. Even the thought of moving it hurt. And you had to, that was when it was most painful, like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, because you had no idea how many people smack you on the arm. Hey, buddy, what's happening, man? And you're, Jesus Christ. And they're like, why were you reacting? So, why, I just patted you on the arm. Why'd you? And you were almost embarrassed to be like, yeah, I got this brand on my arm. You were like, I didn't want to tell. I was kind of like, people are going to think we're nuts. I'm not going to tell anybody I did this. But, God almighty, it hurt.
It hurt. Well, I got slapped down the arm by, like, my boss man. Like,
yeah.
I just got right back to work and went, ow. And then he's like, dude. And I showed him, and I think I, like, got a sign of respect from him. He's like,
yeah?
Wow, how tough are you? I'm like, pretty damn tough, man. Like
So let's go back to how we met. Let's relive that night. I was racing in the Xfinity Series. I reckon this is 98 or so.
Probably 97 because he hadn't started in an AC Delco car.
Hadn't been full time yet.
Nah.
So I'm coming home from a race. We used to race around noon, 1 o'clock. So our races would be done at 3 or 4 o'clock, and I would be able to get home. It'd still be 6, 7 o'clock. You can go do something on a Saturday night. And I had a couple of friends, Eric Thompson and Brian Thompson. They were brothers, and they lived at home with their parents, and we were all pretty young back then. But they were having a party, and basically it was just a bunch of people standing around in the driveway drinking beer and a little music playing. But I didn't know really anybody over there but Eric and Brian Thompson. And we call Brian Long Legs. He's a really tall dude. And I've been friends with these guys since, probably the late 80s. I remember seeing them at the racetrack and stuff. But we've been friends a long time. And so I go over there, and I don't know anybody, but they introduced me to you. And we ended up hanging out the rest of that night. So, like, how did all that happen?
Well, the Wiggins Road boys. I kind of lived near them. D. Neal, Eric Thompson, and all them all went to school together. And I had just left. I went to college at Wingate. It was right down the road, but didn't really go too well. So I moved back home. And, of course, I kind of picked back up with D. Neal and Eric Thompson, Long Legs. This is a good group of guys, man.
Yep.
Really good. They're like, come on over, man. We're hanging out, blah, blah, blah. I think it was, I can't remember what night it was. Went over there, kind of like you. I knew a lot of people from high school, but hadn't seen them in a while. So kind of just started hanging out with you. And then you started doing the spoonerism stuff. You remember that?
Yes.
And I thought that was hysterical. Tig bitties and all that stuff.
So the spoonerism came from, if people will remember, Dr. Jerry Punch. And he had a nephew named Kelly Punch, and me and him were freaking great friends. And he had spoonerisms, is what he called them. Basically, you take the first letter of each word and you flip it. And so, like, Buck You Fuddy or something like, stuff like that. And so we did, and it makes you, you hear it and you're like, what? And it's just kind of something you do when you're drinking beer with guys. But I started doing the spoonerisms, and you thought that was funny as hell.
I thought it was hilarious. And we went down, and you got to go back to the rock quarry back there. We all hung out. It was just a good time. And I don't know. I was kind of back from school. You were kind of going ease into your bush career, so you had some time off too, a little bit. And we just kind of became buds, and Mooresville fashion. Everybody's kind of cool with everyone. I thought it was pretty badass. You had a double wide, and you had some awesome concerts there. Yeah, full-fledged band. This guy's badass. This is awesome.
Yeah,
mom and grandmother getting removed. Well, sent home from college.
Yeah.
And still had that little party stage in me. I had a lot more to go.
That night at the Eric Thompson and Brian's house, me and you were kind of flirting with the same girl.
Yeah.
We ended up kind of like hanging around together because we were both kind of flirting with that girl, but eventually me and you became friends and forgot about the girl, and
All about her.
like it was all about palling around with you the rest of the night.
Yeah, she was kind of drinking beer by the campfire by herself. Oh well.
So we ended up palling around. I mean, it was like instantaneous, man. From that day forward, I think we were hanging out every week.
We were, man. It was
And eventually you moved in to the double wide so I had Carrie living with me. We lived together in the trailer. Carrie got engaged and moved out, and then you came in as a roommate to rent. And so we used to throw some massive parties at the double wide trailer, and we had a ton of fun hanging out and being roommates. And
a lot of fun.
I'm getting a bit ahead of ourselves. You, when we were friends, you went off to UNC Charlotte.
Yes.
And was going to school there.
Yes. Well, actually, I went there after I moved out of your place to go.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was at CPCC, a community college, because, like I say, I had a little trouble at Wingate, and I couldn't get
what happened at Wingate?
Just being a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really want to go into that one, but
right.
but I mean, college is tough. You're away from your parents for the first time. But anyway, so I was going to CPCC, and you and I became buddies. And you're like, "Hey, man, my brother moved out, and my dad ain't paying me much money, and I can't afford rent. I mean, you want to move in?" And I'm like, "Heck yeah," because I mean, we were having Camp Chaos was epic parties. I mean, we were having.
That's what we used to call that's what we used to call the trailer, Camp Chaos.
I mean, and the times we had, and it was just we lived out in the country, and it really wasn't that far away from school. And then I got a job at Simpson Race Products. Remember that?
Yes.
I worked there for a little bit, and I don't know. It was kind of like I got to redeem back in my college days again. It got me back flowing, and I wasn't just living at home. And it was a great time. We had so much fun. I mean, a lot of epic parties. Your dad getting mad because the cigarette butts on the ground and stuff like that.
Talk about the time, I guess the first time you ever remember meeting Dad.
Oh, scared the shit out of me. We talking about Punchy. You were testing that car in Charlotte, and we've been friends for a couple months, and I hadn't met your father yet, but obviously I knew who your dad was, and pretty intimidating guy.
Yep.
But I mean, you become a buddy, and it was just your friend's father. Didn't think much of it, but I mean, he was a very big deal. Well, so anyway, I never imagined meeting first would go down like this. So I go have this old Honda, and I drive that Honda to that test from CPCC, and you wad the car up, and we go back to the double wide, and Punchy was with you, and you were really just, this is it. This sucks. I'm done. I'm done. They made T-shirts for this car, and I just wrecked it. I mean, that's what he kept saying. I'm like, man, they'll send the T-shirts to third world country. It'll be all right, bud. And I was getting ready to leave because I had to go somewhere, and my shoes were kind of by the front door. And next thing I hear this horn is blaring, and I mean, next thing I know, that back door flew up. Get the off my property. I'm like, oh, I just ran out the front of him. He looked like 10 feet tall, and he was kind of going toward Punchy.
Really?
He was on the other side of the room. Well, is this where Punchy was sitting at the back door? You know what I mean? He didn't. Yeah. It ain't like he was going to attack. He was just mad.
Yeah.
And I got the heck out of there and left my shoes. And I didn't know I left my shoes until I turned left and looked down at my feet. And I'm like, Punchy, I'm driving no shoes on. Damn it, I ain't going back to get them.
Punchy jumped in your car?
Yeah, Punchy jumped in my car.
Where were y'all going?
I don't know why he jumped in my car. He was
Punchy
so
was
damn
with
scared. Huh?
Yeah, he was with me, and he was so scared he just hopped in your
He
car. He's like,
stopped
"Get me
in
out of
the
here!"
car, and I'm like, "Where you want me to take you? Not back there." And so I took him. I think his brother had a race shop or something. Took him over there, but a couple hours later, he called me up. But I mentioned that to your dad one time. I told him that was the most scared I've ever been in my life.
What'd he say?
He like, well, you remember that day we moved? You might be further down the road. I helped you move to the double wide, and I kind of spent the whole day with your dad.
Yeah,
and we were doing something. I think we were in that old Elvis room, and we were putting the bed together, and something came up about being scared. And I'm like, yeah, the top 5 scaredest I've ever been was whenever you come in that trailer and cussed us out and kicked us out that day. And he's like, I was pissed.
Yeah.
And then he just laughed, and then we just changed the subject. He kept talking about his pizza oven too, but I told him, and he laughed pretty hard.
The pizza oven.
But he was always so cool to me after that. I'm glad I got my Dale Sr. cussing out the first time, you know. But what a cool guy to me after, man. He had always, he would do some crazy stuff. Remember when the boys, I was living there in the double wide, and you were gone. There's a couple different stories, but I guess we had a party the weekend before, and he was obviously gone. And so people did some donuts out in the pasture. And he's like, who up my field? You know what I mean? And I'm like, and I didn't want to rat him out or nothing, and kept on. He goes, I think I know who it is. Well, the guy worked for MB2 Motorsports. Yeah. He called MB2 Motorsports. And I got home the next day, and those boys are in the field fixing where they tore up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he told me then, I don't like cigarettes being out here, so if you can, pick up cigarettes, butts. And he was always cool.
Damn.
And then another good story. Remember you had that 69 Impala?
Yeah.
And you started making blue money.
The blue 65. I still have it.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Remember he threatened to knock the carport down because he couldn't get his tractor through?
Yeah. We bought just a basic carport, cheap, just single cover, no sides. They nail it into the ground, right? We're like, hey, you just put it right here. This is where we park. They nail that thing down in the ground. Dad comes through there, and he's trying to so there's a field behind the double wide, and he's trying to get to that field to mow it. And he's like, I'm going to tear this damn thing down. Y'all better move it. Better call him up and have him move it now. I'm going to tear it down with my tractor. And so we had to have them come over, and we're like, can you take the carport and move it over 3 foot? And they're like, the hell? I'm like, you have no idea.
You don't want to see double wide Dale mad. You know what I mean?
Me and you had a big screen tube TV that I'd gotten from my dad. This thing was a late 80s. Late 80s, mid 80s. It was broken when we got it. We took it to get it fixed, and a man fixed it, and that's what we watched TV on. And me and you used to watch reruns of Dallas with J.R. Ewing every day. We'd sit down because it was on TNN or TNT. I'm sorry, something like that. And we I don't know, for whatever reason we both like to watch it. But I started playing. I started getting Amy into Dallas. We've been watching the first season, but I made some money. So I sat down and I did like an autograph deal or something and got about $2,000 or something like that. And I was like, Josh, let's go pay our power bill, because we were a couple months behind on our power bill.
Yeah, that would happen from time to time.
Yeah, and so we physically go over to where you would pay this power bill in this little strip mall. And when we walk up to the counter, we're proud. We're going to put this money down. We're going to pay the bill. We're going to pay all the past month's bills. We're going to be like, hey, y'all, we're square. And we turn around to leave, and we see this giant, like, entertainment set. It's a big cabinet, shelving, stereos, TV, brand new flat screen TV. And on this, it had that big sticker price tag on it. And it was exactly the amount of money we had left after we paid our power bill. And you looked at me and I looked at you and we were like, we're going to get this. Yeah. We deserve this.
Deserve it.
Remember buying that and taking it home, putting it together?
I mean, it was so damn big in this double wide trailer. It like took up half the living room.
Hell yeah.
But I mean, you had just started making a little bit of money. I mean, you were starting to get pretty big. I think you had won in Texas already. Mm-hmm. Or you were close to, I think you had a couple good runs at Vegas or something, and your autograph fee went up, I guess. And I just remember us getting there. I'm like, holy he's made it. We got this big TV. He has freaking made it, buddy. Watch Dallas in style. I mean, and you had these huge speakers and all that stuff. That was a cool moment.
Hell yeah. Well, it was awesome because
on the hog, man.
It was awesome because our house parties got better because we had a better stereo system.
It was like we were more legit. You know what I mean? Like we took our game to another level with that.
Yeah.
So
I remember when we would have parties over to Double Wide. I remember one night. So I had like a makeshift stereo system in this gooseneck trailer that I would take my late model to the racetrack with. And I was still racing some late model stuff in the 97 season or so when we kind of got to hanging out. I would pull that trailer over to the Double Wide, and that was our outdoor stereo system.
Oh, yeah.
And we would put all the beer coolers in the trailer. And if you wanted a beer, you went over to the gooseneck trailer or whatever, right? And so I remember that being, I remember too, another time, that was one thing we did to kind of set ourselves apart. It was very well
coordinated. We could coordinate a party pretty good.
The front door got tore up. The back actually is the back door. The back door between when me and Carrie lived there and when you moved in, the back door was destroyed. We'd had to break,
swing the damn thing open.
I'd lost my keys multiple times, had to break in. So, I mean, this door was destroyed. You moved in and we're like, man, let's fix that back door. So me and you, we found a mobile home sort of service place, and we went to get a door. And while we're paying for the door, they had this used burnt orange couch. And I was like, we ought to get that couch and put it on the front porch. And so we put a couch on the front porch. That thing lasted about a month before it started stinking up.
Teresa, got a little wet. Like, I remember she asked, why is that couch up there? Man, we're trying to get some porch furniture. She goes, indoor couch. I'm like, I'll figure it out.
Hell yeah, it was. It was comfortable. As long as it wasn't wet.
You remember you won the Texas Busch Series race?
Yes.
It was your first win, and for some reason everybody came to the Double Wide after you won that race. You wasn't home yet. I think you stayed the next day with your dad, and your dad brought you home, and that's a funny story too. But everybody came over. For some reason, somebody took the cushions off of it and said it's a hide-a-bed, and they pulled it out, and it was this rat all over it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So it didn't last too much longer after that. I thought I told you that. But anyway, Kelly come over, and she was wanting to paint like some signs, like because we knew you were going to be coming home the next night with your dad. And she's like, we got to do something big. And so we got some bed sheets. We just sprayed like stupid stuff. I think one said Junior lost his virginity in Texas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was raised for this stupid stuff. And so we were over there doing that. And for some reason, somebody pulled the hide-a-bed sofa.
Oh.
And it was hilarious.
That was a great moment. I remember Dad is bringing me home. I'm riding in the car with him and Teresa. And we pull into the driveway. It's this long driveway up to this double-wide trailer. And hanging in the pine trees facing us as we're pulling up is those bed sheets. There were like 2 or 3 bed sheets that said stuff on them. You could read it easily. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, holy there's a party, people. Like, how's Dad going to react to this? they got the bed sheets. I didn't know Kelly did that. I thought y'all, all my buddies did it.
Kelly with that idea. I'm like, that's a
If I'd have known it was Kelly, I'd have been fine because I thought, Dad, Kelly did this. But I'm like, oh, he might raise hell at my buddies for doing all this. But he was cool as hell.
Dude,
he was like, go have fun. He's like, go have fun. Enjoy it.
He even, I had your Uncle Danny came over. We called Tony Jr. and the boys came. And
yeah,
I think, of course, Two Beer was there. But he was just in a good mood, man. I mean, he pulled out like an hors d'oeuvre tray. Here, got some leftovers here for the plane. You guys party on. Go big.
Yeah. Let's talk about probably one of the biggest pranks that we ever pulled on each other. We pulled a lot of pranks over the years. The most notable prank that I believe are the 2000 crickets that I turned loose in your bedroom. I don't know why I needed to do this. I don't know what you had done that made me think that this was what I needed to do. Do you remember what provoked me putting the crickets? Oh, was it the pregnancy test?
Well, it started out.
What happened first?
With with a lot of different pranks. Okay, Topher.
Oh, I remember. So we went into Topher's bedroom.
Yes.
It was like 3 a.m. He lived in this house up on the front of the street. We break into his house somehow. We threw a gallon of water on him and a pound of flour.
Yes.
And just ruined his bed, and everything was just mucking nasty.
We broke into his room, and you lift straight up. What the hell? We took off running, and your mom, man, she chewed us out so bad. And then we got Sean Brawley.
We did the same thing to Sean at his house.
And he was mad because
it messes up the bedroom bad.
Oh, it messes it up bad. I don't know why. And then it was just game on.
Yeah.
We were all just pranking each other.
That's right.
I mean, you own the double wide. I mean, you own that trailer that I lived in.
Yeah.
I think, well, it was more like a triple wide. It was a modular home, kind of like a double wide, single wide, merged into one. But I'm like, surely he won't do nothing too bad to his house.
I was thinking that I would put the crickets in there and you wouldn't see them until you turn the lights out and they would start making their noise. Now, I don't know if that's how that went down. So did you recognize that you had bugs?
What happened was we were doing the XM radio show at that time. And
that's another thing I even forget about this. Yeah. You and I together hosted an XM radio show on NASCAR on XM or somewhere on XM for a whole year.
3 years.
3 years?
We did it for 3 years.
Holy
and we didn't know what the hell we were doing.
We had Burt Reynolds as a guest.
Jay-Z.
We had Jay-Z.
Remember when you did the video for Jay-Z?
He came on as a guest.
He came on as a guest because...
What the hell?
And I didn't know what the hell I was doing, man. And I'm sitting here interviewing Jay-Z.
Burt Reynolds was a cool one for me.
Oh, Burt Reynolds. What was he?
Because we were both big Burt Reynolds, Smokey and the Bandit fans, all that.
It was the 30th anniversary of Smokey and the Bandit. That's why he was on.
Oh, my God.
And they had, I remember they brought one, and that was probably I was nervous on that one. Yeah. That was tough because we didn't really
Steve Smith from the Panthers, when he was in his prime,
that was cool.
He came into studio to do it.
I was in the studio. Mr. Helton came in.
Yep.
Mr. Hendrick.
Damn.
So we
had nothing. We didn't know what the hell we were doing back then.
Jimmy was doing one with Marty Smith, I think.
Yeah, he's still doing one with Marty Smith, doing a podcast now.
They are, and you're talking about Marty's just so damn smooth. I'm like, I'm nowhere near Marty's level. What the hell is he going to be doing the show with him for?
We had fun.
Loved it, man. We had a blast.
So anyways, we're doing the show and the crickets.
Oh, yeah. So I remember some whispering going on about it because Topher and Hovis come running up, and we did it in this room above your late model shop where the basketball, and you actually stayed there
Dirty Dome.
The Dirty Dome, yeah. And so I knew something was going on. Here whispering, you were just like laughing. I'm like, what did y'all do? And meanwhile, poor Kenny Wallace is sitting there,
Kenny Wallace, the guest?
Headphones off and runs straight up to my house. Because it was probably, what, 400 or 500 yards away?
Yeah.
And everybody's behind me. And I
Oh,
walk
no.
in and open up my room, and there's so many of them. It looked like the floor was moving with the crickets. I'm like, what the what did y'all do? Holy like the place is already a hole. Because we tore that triple wide up, man. It had golf ball holes in it.
We used to hit golf balls into the wall and drive them through the through the damn sheetrock.
Well,
Oh my God, we get in so much trouble for that.
Kelly just stayed pissed at
Yeah.
us. Kelly, y'all don't respect this stuff.
We didn't.
We didn't at all. She was always on our ass. Yes, when you said at Talladega,
Yeah.
you come home that night and you were happy because you won. You're like, I might be in some trouble on this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And we would always be buzzed up, ready for you to come home because it was Sunday night and your adrenaline was still going. We had great Sunday night parties. And for some reason, there was a dartboard there. And it was probably me. I don't know. I think I
started chipping balls at the ball. Yeah.
And it just went to from there.
Turned into like full-on drivers.
Full-on driving. Let's see if we can hit it to the other side.
Yeah. Can you send it through the wall? Can it go through the actual wall all the way? Yeah. So how long did the crickets stay there?
That was tough.
Let me ask you this. When you turn the light out to go to sleep, did the crickets make chirping sounds?
Oh. I was dating a girl at the time. She wouldn't come over and stay. She was like, you already have places already a I ain't going to be over there.
Oh, my God.
So I think I talked to Sonny, and we had to get some professional help over there to get rid of them.
Oh, man.
I mean, it went on for a couple of weeks because
those shot back didn't do the trick.
Huh?
They had what?
They lay eggs.
Oh, God, gross.
Yeah, and they multiply pretty fast. Sonny's like, this could be a serious problem. I'm like,
oh my God.
I don't know why he would do this to his own house. You know?
So the ultimate end of the pranking was a single prank pulled by Topher, Christopher Allen, our friend Topher. God, this is good. This ended all the pranks. I come home, and I had this girl that I was dating. She's sitting on the couch. She's just normal, come home. I run upstairs to, throw my bag in the bedroom or do something. You go to the bathroom, use the bathroom. Come out of the bathroom, and I see something on the counter. And I go over there, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking at. But eventually, in just a second or two, I'm like, this is a damn pregnancy test. And and I read it, and it's positive. And I was like, holy shit. And I'm like, she's pregnant. Why would she just tell me? So I go downstairs and I'm like, why don't you just tell me that this ain't how I find out, right? And she sat there and she knew that this prank was happening, but she didn't have a plan. And so in 2 minutes, she's finally like, you just need to go ask your friends. And I was like, that's weird. Why would I need to talk to my friends about this? Because I still think she's pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, you just need to go ask your friends. You need to go ask Christopher. You need to go ask Topher. I'm like, weird. And so I go to Topher, and he's like, yeah, I had a friend of mine. His wife's pregnant. I had her give me the positive test so I could plant it in your bathroom. And I was like, that was diabolical, man.
Because,
oh, my God. That was diabolical. I have no idea.
About a week before he was going to do it. Meanwhile, I'm dealing with this damn cricket problem.
You didn't talk him out of it? That's so mean.
Oh, no, I couldn't because you just let 2,000 crickets in my damn. I was encouraging at this point. I was ready to go put a sign up who's pregnant and willing to pee on a stick. He was working at he was working for you at the time. He was working at JRM.
Oh, well, yeah, probably.
And it was a guy that worked with you guys.
Oh.
And I can't remember what team Topher worked on, but what car number. But I think it was the car chief or something. His wife was pregnant.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do it. And Hovis was all in on it. And Brawley knew about it a little bit. Brawley's still pissed because we really screwed his room up. I think we
did
2 pounds of flour and about 5 gallons of water on him. He really got it bad.
There was a bunch of us. I remember that night. We were, it was 3:00 in the morning and been drinking beer all day. We go in there. We had multiple buckets. We had multiple bags of flour. We just destroyed his room. And I actually ran into the closet. And the light comes on. And I'm like, I'm in the closet. And everyone else is gone. Y'all have left the house.
Well, I went out the damn door.
I know. I went the wrong way. And I'm like screwed now. I'm trapped. And I'm like, he's really gonna beat my ass. Like he might swing. This is my buddy. This is my buddy. But I'm like, he might swing on me on this. And so I had to like listen to him stomp around in that room cussing. These son get these grr. And he goes out of the room and I made a beeline for it to the door and he saw me. And he was hollering or something at me, cussing at me or something, man. But it's close. I was almost in a fight.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it would have been a fight to the end because he was mad. I mean, he came out on the front porch because he ran around the back porch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where's Dad?
Oh, yeah.
Where's Junior? Where's Junior? Where's Junior? I'm laying down in the field trying to act like I'm freaking in the Army or something.
Army crawling.
Army crawling. Like I said, we were pretty hammered at the time. And Sean's just yelling, I can't believe you guys did this. I got to work tomorrow. Oh, next thing you know, he's on the front porch just cussing at us. I know y'all are out there. Then I see Junior coming around the houses.
Booking,
bud. It was, he was so mad at us. Sean didn't really get us back, though.
No, he never did.
We never. But the pregnancy test, the crickets.
I didn't prank anyone who I was worried about the repercussions. That's why we never pranked TJ, because TJ would be diabolical. Now, I misread Topher. I didn't see that one coming. If I'd have known Topher was going to prank me back with that pregnancy test, I probably would have not pranked him in the first place. But TJ was another one I don't think we ever really didn't
want to
mess around with. No, you didn't want to mess with him.
TJ.
Yes. That's right.
Speaking of a great story, you remember the time we went and picked him up?
Oh, my God.
They jacked up on Mountain.
Yeah.
We have to go pick TJ up, and it was December of 2001.
This was the day after Christmas.
It was the first Christmas without your dad.
I've known TJ for a little while. I've been kind of helping him with some advice to race, and we become friends and we're racing online. He wants to move down. He's going to move in with D. Neal. Yeah. They're going to be roommates. D. Neal's happy with this. This is going to be good. We're going to drive up there to help him move.
Yep.
And so we're in a white.
Where did you get the dually from?
From probably DEI, but it's a white crew cab dually.
Yeah, it was a white. It was a new one.
It was me and you, D. Neal, and
Ben Gable.
Yep. And we drove to Buffalo the day after Christmas. There was a compass in the mirror or whatever, right above the mirror.
And it was new, yeah.
And listen, this is 2001.
Yeah, 01.
There weren't we didn't have like maps on our phones and all that. Basically, we're driving up 85. And we're at Salisbury. We're like 40 minutes into this drive to Buffalo, New York. And I said to y'all, man, I don't know. I don't think I want to do this whole damn trip on the interstate. What do you say we do 2-lane roads all the way to Buffalo? And y'all were like, yeah, all right. A little bit of hesitation. So we got off the damn interstate just past Salisbury, and we never touched another damn interstate all the way to Buffalo.
Well, we ended up.
We had to get on the interstate every now and then, but
we ended up in Washington, D.C.
Yeah. So
we took a picture from the White House, didn't we?
We followed the compass.
Yeah.
And so we're like, just go north. And, we'd look at signs and stuff. And we would stop every hour. So we're listening to the CD collection. right? So we're playing CDs, everybody's playing their songs. But at the top of the hour, we would play this Enya song.
Oh, yeah.
Only time.
Who can say where it goes?
We put that in and would play it, and then we would pull over while that song's playing. We'd pull over at the gas station. We'd get us a soft drink and a Slim Jim.
Yeah.
Every hour.
Every hour.
To Buffalo. And we saw some signs that were like, this way to Washington, D.C. And I was like, y'all want to go to the Washington, D.C.? On the way? And so we drive to Washington, D.C., and we get on the beltway that goes around D.C., and you can see all the monuments. We're like, damn, there it is. There's this, there's that. Wow, look. And they were still fixing the Pentagon.
Yeah.
From 9/11, and 9/11 had just recently happened months ago. And so we accidentally ended up on a road that was closed right in that area. And we're on this road, and we were at one moment we're around traffic, and then the next moment there's no traffic, and it was like, are we in the right place? And all of a sudden, blue lights, and we are riding around, 4 guys in a white dually. We got the windows down because we're all looking, rubbernecking, looking around at everything and all the sights. And we got our toboggans on and everything. We looked like terrible suspects, right? And this cop pulls us over, and he's like, walks up, and he's like, y'all ain't supposed to be on this road. How'd you get on this road? And I was like, man, we just hit the ramp back there, and here we are. I didn't drive around a barrier or nothing. I didn't know we were not supposed to be here. And he, through the exchange of some IDs and so forth, he figured out who we were. And I was like, you ain't going to believe this, but we're on our way to Buffalo to pick a friend of mine up and help him move down to North Carolina. And I was like, we just thought we'd check out the sites and see what was going on. And, here we are. So he was like, look, I get it. I believe you. I'm going to lead you to the next way to get off this road. You're not supposed to be on it. But I remember that. And then we continue to drive. And during all of this, we're telling TJ where we are. We're on the phone with him. And he's looking at a map on his computer. And he's like, why are y'all doing that? We're like, we're in D.C. He's like, where are you in D.C.?
I mean, Buffalo is northwest, and we're northeast as far as you can go.
He's so mad. And he's like, y'all need to go back this way and get on this road and get on that road. And we're like, no, TJ, you don't understand. We're not on that kind of a trip. We'll get there when we get there. Yeah. And so we're driving through Pennsylvania, and we're driving. It's freaking like 2 a.m. And we're driving, and we keep seeing this stuff on the side of the road. And it's like little flashes of something. And it's like every now and then we kept seeing, and we slowed down, and it was cannons.
Yeah.
And we got to thinking, we're like, we must be in Gettysburg. And so we drove a little further down the road, and we're seeing more cannons and things, and we found the eternal flame that's lit in this particular park at Gettysburg. And so we got out and had our picture made in front of the flame. And
during one of our stops, we bought a throwaway camera.
Yes, we did. And we had a little.
Take some cool here. We're gonna take some cool pictures. We're seeing some cool stuff.
We almost, as we continued past Gettysburg, we drove, and we're still on 2 lanes, and we accidentally ended up in the mountains of Pennsylvania. It started to snow. And you remember we're going up this hill, and we started spinning the tires.
Yeah.
And I was like, our ass is going to end up getting stuck in the middle of nowhere.
We didn't know where in the hell we were at.
I don't know where we are. And so we don't know where we're going, what the next turn is. We're just following this compass to stay north. I remember one time we were in the mountains of Pennsylvania, and we were turning left, and the headlights went across this yard of this home. And in that yard was like a 4-door Cadillac DeVille that a guy had put on like monster truck tires.
Yes.
And you remember I stopped and we got out and had our picture made in front of it.
Take a picture with it.
Yeah.
I gotta
was like,
find
we can't not have a picture with this car. This thing is like, we're never going to see a car like this in the rest of our lives. It was literally like monster truck tires and a Cadillac DeVille.
Bill.
And it was like 4 a.m. We're like, this guy's going to come out of this house and shoot us. But we finally got out of the mountains, and we ended up driving to Buffalo from North Carolina. It took us 22 hours or 24 hours, something like that. I drove 19 straight. And then I was like, guys, I can't do it. I got tapping out. And I felt like garbage.
I remember you kept calling your coach driver,
Shane
at the time. Hey, man, what's the longest you ever driven for? What's the longest? He said 17 hours. Damn it, I got to go longer than 17 hours.
Yeah.
Go longer than 17 hours. When you went 19, you're like, I did 19. I'm out. Done.
Yep. I climbed in the back seat and I was gone. And I woke up and we're at TJ's. We pulled into TJ's house. I'm thinking, so TJ has a trailer that we're going to hook to this truck. We talked about it. We were organized.
Yeah.
We get there. What's in the trailer? Nothing.
Yeah.
TJ had not moved a freaking thing in his house. His computer, bedroom, clothes, everything. He was still living there like he ain't going nowhere. I look in this trailer. I'm like, the damn thing's empty. I go into the house. I'm like, TJ, oh, I just got to grab my clothes and my computer. I'm not taking anything else. I'm like, well, you at least should have had the shit in there ready. We've been talking to you for 22 hours on the way here. Like, we were going to pull in, hook up the trailer, go.
He probably didn't think we were going to show up.
I don't know what he thought, but we had to load the damn trailer up and throw his shit in there, hook it up. And then
you
he followed us.
Tired. You were mad about it. You were just giving him shit the whole time.
We had to stop and see his sister. She was working somewhere.
Yeah.
We had to stop and see her, and then we had to stop at his grandparents' house. He had grabbed something from there. And then we drove back home, still only by compass. We ended up in Ohio.
Ohio West.
Or somewhere.
Here, yeah.
Yeah. We ended up a bit west.
Yes.
And we ended up having, and that's when we were like, screw it, we're getting a hotel room.
Yeah.
We pull over, get this hotel room. We don't know really where we are. We pull over, get this hotel room. We asked the clerk, we're like, hey, is there somewhere to go have some beers? Oh, yeah. 2 miles away, whatever, 4 miles away, there's a little bar going over this bar. Great, guys. I'll meet you downstairs. Go up, shower, get ready. We'll meet you downstairs in 5 minutes. We go downstairs. Me and D. Neal start unhooking the trailer. We're going to leave the trailer in the parking lot. TJ starts getting nervous. Man, you think it'll be okay here? I'm like, they ain't in there, TJ. You got a couple of shirts and a damn desktop computer. Who cares? They can take the whole damn thing. And I was like, forget about it.
They ain't in there, TJ.
We all hop in this damn dually and drove over to this bar. It's a bar and strip club together.
Oh,
and so, yeah, like we go into the bar and then you could go to the strip club and then back to the bar. They weren't the same place. But I remember hanging out in that bar and drinking. And then at one point there was a big fight.
Yeah.
Between two brothers.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
They were mad at each other about something, and we were like coaching them. Like, all right, man, when you come up, you got to swing with your right. You know, do this. And so,
yeah, you were coaching the bigger guy. You made me coach the little guy. I'm like, come on.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I got to manage the little guy.
Yeah. I remember we had like 5 or 10 people in the kitchen of the bar. And I'm like, all right, we're going to bust through these doors and just start swinging and attacking people. Like, with no real intention to do this. But we just were trying to get these brothers to fight. But we ended up getting a ride home in a police car.
Yes.
We were piled in this police car to take us back to the hotel because none of us could drive. And I remember racing luggage carts in the hall of this hotel.
Yes.
With those police officers at like 4 a.m, 5 a.m. Yeah, it was funny.
They had a blast.
Because they raced luggage carts in stroker race.
Was it Stroker? Yeah, it was.
Stroker Race.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's where we got the idea from.
And then we did finally get TJ home. I think after we got up the next morning and we were all so tired and just ready for this to be over with. We got on the interstate and we drove straight to the freaking house. And then TJ lived in North Carolina happily ever after.
Happily ever after. I mean, talking about a start of a great career.
God dang.
Hilarious. I mean, that trip was just, I don't know. I think you needed a distraction. We all needed a little distraction.
Yeah.
It was a perfect distraction.
It sure was.
I mean, that's where we just kept, I mean, we were so, I don't know how you went to sleep. Because every time we'd stop, we'd get Mountain Dews. And I was just so, man, I had so much caffeine in me. I was like this.
Yeah. That was one of them deals where you're so tired, but yeah, you've had too much caffeine, so you're like deadbeat tired, but you can't like just lay down and pass out. Plus the backseat of that damn dually and share, another person's back there. You can't get too comfortable. Let's talk about the time I got my wisdom teeth pulled out.
Wisdom teeth.
We had a friend. Yeah, we had a friend of ours, Steve Crisp, who was kind of like my PR guy. He took me to get my wisdom teeth pulled because they're going to knock you out and get all goofy. You can't drive. I wake up from getting my wisdom teeth pulled, and he drives me home, puts me to bed, and I'm asleep. You're at work. He goes and buys all this food, a lot of ice cream and stuff that I can eat while I've got my wisdom teeth healing up. And he comes back. Puts it in the house. He goes back to work. And at 5 o'clock, he comes over. And he walks into the house, and me and you are roommates. And he's like, hey, Josh, you're sitting on the couch eating a tub of ice cream. And he's like, hey, man, is Dale all right? And you're like, man, I hadn't seen him. I guess he's still in there asleep. And you had eaten all of the food. Is that true?
Well, I didn't eat all the food.
Not all of it.
But I did eat the ice cream. But it was,
you came home, and I bet you opened the fridge, and you were like,
I'm like, damn, man, we got some ice cream here. It was a hot day.
Oh, God.
Thought I'd enjoy me a bowl of ice cream. Steve comes in. That was Dale Jr. I'm like, he's still in there asleep, man. He just laughed. I think, I remember you got your wisdom teeth. Yes, that was true. I didn't eat all the food, but I was eating.
Oh, you didn't eat it all.
I was eating part of the food because, he had, Steve Chris would always take good care of you.
Yeah.
So, a lot of great stories about Steve Chris, but I remember he was the guy that really helped you out in 98, and he would always make sense of a lot of things, as you were going to 3A Sudoku. So I always looked up to Steve, and I disappointed him that day because he was so proud he went grocery shopping for you. Kind of screwed it up for him. But he was looking out for you, man. He really was.
So you ended up, after college, getting involved in doing PR work for Martin Truex Jr. You actually you had an internship at DEI?
Yes. You remember this. Probably the worst appearance you ever went on was because of me.
Oh.
Steve Chris was my internship leader, him and J.R. Rhodes.
Yeah.
And they came up with this thing. You got to come up with 3 ideas for a junior appearance or something. Or something for Dale Jr. And they really taught me a lot during this summer of interning with that Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. And I did a lot of grunt work, but one thing I did learn how to do was you had to do sponsor appearances. So somehow I got talking on our way to doing another trip to Daytona. We passed by this base in Jacksonville who was having a big, huge military day or some type of celebration. So I'm like, you know what? What if Dale Jr. joins the celebration? You know what I mean? Like we could do an experience. So I get talking to some general, really worked hard on it through some connections they had. And they did a Dale Earnhardt Jr. day leading up to this big parade or ceremony they were going to have. But I had nothing planned out right. We had tables for autograph sessions. We just walked in like this hangar, and there's probably like 10,000 people there. And you're just walking through the crowd. So you just stood up and did an impromptu Q&A. Got autographs. And we left. And I was like, this was like the worst. Because I'd been to like appearances with you when J.R. Rhodes and Steve Chris did them, and they were so organized.
Yeah.
And this was terrible, but you wasn't pissed about it at all. I was more probably upset about it than anything else. I got on the phone with Steve, and he really walked me through mistakes I made. And he's like, don't worry about it. I did my first appearance with Dale Sr., and we didn't even have a table. And he just had to walk down the line of people and sign what they had. He goes, so it's a good learning experience for you. But yeah, that internship was a very valuable internship that taught me a lot, that led me to getting a job at DEI, but was always cool with Steve Chris because he could have really let me have it for not, making the mistakes that I made, but instead he taught me a lot from that. So, and you were cool with it. I mean, because normally you could have ripped me up and down because it didn't go too smooth.
You did some PR work with Truex in his Xfinity career.
Yes. Some of the best times of my life. Graduated college, and you and Teresa decided to form Chance 2, which was to give people like me an opportunity. Bono was our crew chief, Haskell, Russell, Sammy Gonzalez, just a bunch of them. I keep naming names because we were such a tight group, but we were all just trying to come up through where I was the PR guy. And I was probably a terrible PR guy because I didn't write the best releases. I had a guy named Tim Packman help me out a lot. J.R. Rhodes helped me out. And but I really learned a lot doing that. I learned how to deal with sponsors. I learned how to deal with licensing stuff. I learned really the business end of it. And poor Martin just had to put up with it. But we had some of the best times in our life because he really hit the ground running. And we won 2 championships back to back.
Yep.
And it was cool because I got to meet a lot of neat people. I remember one, I wasn't the best at sending emails.
Yeah.
And, I would always try to get a feature story about Martin on different things. Well, you had this big, thick book, and I called the LA Times front sports desk. JR kind of told me, just start making some phone calls and get talking to a guy named Shav Glick, who was like the sports reporter for the LA Times. He interviewed your dad. He interviewed Muhammad Ali and everything. Well, I get talking to him, and I pitch him to interview Martin. And he goes, I tell you what, young buck, I'll do it just like you had the balls to call the LA Times sports desk versus emailing. Martin had a story written on him in the LA Times by Shav Glick, totally by accident.
Oh, wow.
Well, a couple years later, you remember Hunter?
Jim Hunter?
Yes, Jim Hunter, big wig at NASCAR. I'm talking like top dog. He's up there with Helton and those guys. Might have been later that year. He saw me walking around in the media center, and he pulled me to the side, and he's like, how in the hell did you get Shav Glick to interview Martin? And I said, I called the LA Times sports desk. He's like, oh, shit. Like, way to stick with it. So, but, oh, man, we did so many cool things, Martin. I mean, me and Martin were kind of learning together. And,
yes, you were both rookies.
Showed the ropes a lot to us, but doing the interviews. I remember a couple times you would show up to some of his interviews and really help it out and get going. You and Jade and JR. We just had a good group of people around us, and we were really lucky we did.
Your favorite Martin Truex Jr. story, apparently a cool appearance you were part of where Clint Boyer was driving for RCR.
Oh, this is hysterical. Yeah.
I hadn't heard this one.
Remember Nazareth Speedway?
Yes.
In Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And you remember, I think it was, what was the program called? You guys have to go do appearance.
Winter Circle?
Yes. Okay. So I think Nazareth this was going to be their last race.
Yep.
And they wanted to bring the big guns up. So they called Hornaday. And he was driving for RCR at the time.
Yep.
And they called Martin up to do it. And they asked if we would do it. And Tracy Judd and everybody from NASCAR, O'Donnell's people would kind of coordinate because he was heading the Busch Series up at the time. So we all go up there. Well, RC at Richard Childress assigned Clint Boyer, and I think he was maybe making his debut there. That's why he was there. So anyway, they take us all out to lunch. Clint's a pretty vocal guy today. I mean, he hadn't changed one bit.
Sure.
Well, he sits right across from me, puts his arms up on the table and goes, how in the hell are you best friends with Dale Jr.? And I'm like, we're just buds. He goes, damn, you're lucky. What a cool guy. Like,
What if he'd say that today?
I don't know. But I'll never forget. He put his arms up on the table. That's the first question he asked me. Not, hey, I'm Clint, Josh. No. How in the hell are you best friends with Dale Jr.?
Oh, damn.
And
So,
started out a good friendship. I still talked to Clint probably about 6 months ago. He called me.
hey, it's Dale Jr. Did you know that we've got brand new merch from our Stars, Stripes, and Beers collection available now? We've got tanks, tees, beach towels, and more just in time for summer. Check it all out at shop.dirtymomedia.com. Did you go on the cruise?
I went on the cruise. That was fun.
All right. So on the cruise, where you weren't part of the group that destroyed the hallway?
No.
Do you remember that?
I was working at DEI then.
Do you remember that though?
I remember, yeah.
That happening?
Yeah.
So we went on a cruise, and it was all the people on the cruise. There was some race car drivers, me, Truex, a couple other people.
Shane Neal went.
Yep. And we were going to people could buy packages to come on the cruise with us. It was really tough, but a lot of fun. I wasn't sure exactly what I was supposed to be doing, but so I didn't feel like I was always doing what I was supposed to be doing. But one night late, I brought like 20, 25 people with me, family, friends, cousins, uncles. Some of those friends, so the captain comes over to me one day, and he goes, hey, man, we had some shit get torn up in the hallway. Every picture on the wall in a cruise is screwed to the wall. It's because, it's a cruise, boat rocks. So some people had ripped some of those off the wall in a hallway. And the guy said, we know who it was. We've got some camera footage, and we know who it was, some of your friends. What do you want us to do? How do you want us to handle this? And I was like, I'm embarrassed, and I really want to make them feel like complete ass. And I said, why don't you make an announcement at dinner? The whole boat had dinner together. And I said, maybe, the captain at dinner would always get up and speak, about how the day's going, how the cruise is going, and just really kind of a neat thing to hear the captain talk. And he's dressed in his whites and all and everything, pretty official. I said, why don't during your speech tonight at dinner, you bring this up and say, hey, we know who you are, and we'll talk to you soon when this cruise is over. And let's just keep these guys on edge for the rest of the trip. Let's just really kind of ruin the trip for them. And so that's what he did. He, in the middle of dinner, got up and goes, hey, he goes on this whole thing about the cruise going well. Today was great. Tomorrow we had this planned. We're going to have a great time, everybody. We're going to this dock and going to be awesome. Oh, by the way, last night some people tore up, vandalized some of the property on the boat, and we have some footage and know exactly who you are. We'll be talking to you guys when the cruise comes to the final port. I was like, hell yeah. And do you remember that?
I remember. I wasn't a part of it.
And me and you knew who it was.
We knew who it was. I ain't going to call them out. But
no, we won't call them out.
But I remember them being so nervous, and they're like, what do you think they're going to do? What do you think they're going to do? I'm like, I don't know. They're like, and, by that time, everybody would go to J.R. Rose to get you out of a little bit of trouble. You think J.R. can help us out? I'm like, at one time, I'm glad I was working, and I had to go to bed because you had appearances to do throughout the whole trip.
Yeah.
And you had some for Truex and Shane. Well, I was kind of in charge of Martin, Shane, and I think Three Doors Down was with us. The band.
Oh, yeah, they were.
And the lead singer, who's a super nice guy.
Brad.
I mean, he was an amazing guy. And,
Salt of the earth, yep.
And so I was kind of in charge of those three. And we had something we had to do at breakfast the next morning or something. So we had kind of toned it down a little bit that night. And I guess the boys just went a little wild. But it was a great cruise, man. You put together, we had Three Doors Down there. Doogie, Sonny Lefford came.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and your sister and all her friends came. Your mom and Willie was on there.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the first time I met Amy?
Yes. I remember how it all went down. You were
I
building.
want to know your perspective.
Well, you were building this house that you live in now, and you were
Yeah.
so pumped about it. And you're like, hey, man, Sonny told me there's this girl that working with this team of people that's designing a house. She's supposed to be really pretty, like really hot. I'm like, well, man, Sonny's got a pretty good taste in women, I mean, probably is, I don't know. You're like, I'm gonna go to the next meeting. So you went to the next meeting and you came back, whoo, boy, she's really hot. So you put on the charm, man, you do. And you invite her up for the weekend, and we're at the Western town. And she comes in, and she's just awesome. Well, I knew she had to be nervous because you had everybody there.
Yeah.
We're probably a pretty intimidating group. You think about it, man. In her defense, you're walking into this room, and you like this guy. He's put the charm on you pretty hard, and you're meeting. I mean, you had all of us were there. Everybody was there, and but she fit right in. You remember you flew me down. We flew out there to meet her family, and I was with you. And
Oh yeah, you went to the farm.
so much fun that yes. And her dad is probably like the coolest guy to hang out with.
I remember telling you, I'm like, Josh, I want you to go out to this farm in Texas with me, and you were like, okay, but I could tell you were like, I'm not sure how this is going to go for me. I'm not, because I mean, you're kind of like the third wheel.
Yeah.
And I was like, trust me, man, you're gonna love it. And you had to really buy in. I was glad you did because it's awesome. We had a damn fun
I
time.
knew that y'all were going to be pretty serious. I could just tell.
Yeah.
And she was just such an amazing person. And I was happy for you because, you needed that. I mean, y'all want to see your best friends find a girl to love and go on. You want her to be happy. And so I knew it was serious. And so when you asked me to go, I'm like, well, yeah, why not? I've never been to Texas before.
Yeah.
Really down in that area. And you told me it was the home of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, we're going now.
That was a selling point.
That closed the deal right there, bud.
Oh my gosh.
That was cool. That was really neat to see. And then, you going to get married, and I still think the world of her dad and her sister, and it's just a great family. And her grandparents, man, what an awesome group.
I remember having a lot of heart-to-heart conversations with you about like we love being friends and being boys and being bachelors and all that fun shit, but I think I think we all too wanted to find that person that was going to change our lives, and I know that we both have experienced that. But that was the only tough part about. I think eventually we knew we kind of had to grow up.
I had to grow up, man.
Yeah, and get after it.
But what's cool is we all grew up and we found happiness, and we all went and do our own thing, but we're all still close today. I mean, I can call you anytime. You've been there for me and been there for you. And that's what's cool about the friendships we formed.
Yeah.
And we were so tight because we went through a lot together growing up, becoming really from these boys to men.
Yeah, we had to look out for each other.
We were growing up and we screwed up a lot, but man, we made some damn great memories, some damn great friends, and it's made us
sure
did. Today.
You ended up working in when you got done with PR work in NASCAR, you went to work selling motorhomes.
Yeah.
And now that's what's taking you to where you are today out in Oklahoma, right?
Oklahoma, yeah. I live in a little town called Grove, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
It's a lake town, a lot like Lake Norman was 30 years ago. The lake's like 3 times the size of Lake Norman with 10% of the population.
Yeah, totally undeveloped.
Totally undeveloped, but it's so cool. I mean, a lot of bass fishermen out there will probably know about Grand Lake.
Yeah.
But I sell motorhomes now, live out here. I'm married, wife Stacy, I have 2 kids, and I work for a motorhome manufacturer, but it was an
You've been doing that for how long?
I've been going to be here 8 years next week.
Did you start? When did you get into RV and selling RVs and stuff?
Truex.
I mean, you've been doing that for 20 years.
20 years. Like. Truex, a good friend of ours, Joel Suggs. Y'all probably heard us talk a lot about Brandon Suggs, his brother. He worked at Tom Johnson's RV, which was right down the road, and
Yeah.
A lot of people in NASCAR bought their motorhomes from Tom, but Joel worked there. And Martin was ready to buy an RV, and I'm like, I got a buddy. So I called Joel up, and we go down and see him and do the whole deal. Martin buys a motorhome, and then start referring a couple other people over to my buddy Joel. And Joel was good friends with Ricky Hendrick.
Yep.
And Ricky passed away. Well, Mr. Hendrick really wanted Joel to come run work it under his automotive group. And Joel's like, I got this great opportunity with Rick Hendrick. I'm like, well, you don't say no to Mr. Hendrick, you know?
That's right.
And he's like, oh, and he goes, but I have a good opening here. And at the time, I was driving a 1994 Ford Ranger, making probably about $28,000 a year. And it was funny. I would be flying on these private jets around with you. We'd land at the airport, and I'd get in my 94 Ranger and drive home to my triple wide. So it was a little, I'm like, I got to try to find something on my own. And I knew that when Martin going to Cup, he needed a new PR guy. That wasn't going to be my career path.
Right.
So Joel kept talking to me, and I decided to take the leap and go into RV sales, and got linked with Tom Johnson and a guy named Robert Duncan. Those two, Tom and Robert, really took me under their wing and really taught me the business about customers and service, and really, really enjoyed it. It was a challenge that I thought that worked great for me, and I enjoyed helping people out, but I still got to work with all my friends in NASCAR.
Yeah.
And so it was a dream. Well, Tom sold out to Camping World, and I worked at Camping World for a little bit, but Newell Coach, who's the premier RV manufacturer, you had a few of them, your father had a couple, called me and asked me if I want to move here. And so my wife and I came out here to Oklahoma, and looked at it, thought about it for a while, prayed a lot of prayer, because you don't know. I had a 3-month-old son at the time, and my daughter was 22 months old. And to move halfway across the country away from you, Sean, my mother lives in Mooresville, my brother, everybody, all my family, I was leaving the unknown, but there's something gravitated me to come out here to Newell Coach, and moved out here. It was a great decision. I would love to have you and Amy and the kids come out here and visit, because I have a little lake house now.
Damn.
And I have a boat. I'm the president of my boat slip association.
Damn right, brother.
And it's really cool. It's really a cool place to live. We've had some ups and downs since living here. I had a little bout. Got ill there for a while.
Yep.
And but this company had my back during that time, and like you did and many others, and I was really lucky to be working here when that happened. And so I'm very loyal to this place, and I always will be, even though I miss home.
Oh, yeah.
I miss Mooresville. I miss, just giving you, Sean, Sonny, the guys a call up. Hey, let's go do this. And we didn't get to do it much because, we're starting our families and things, but it was cool to know you guys were always right down the road.
Right.
But we built a good home here, and we really like it. We've really been blessed, and we still building motorhomes. I've built 26 a year.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, Martin's here all the time.
Yeah, he's always talking about motor coaches.
Oh, he loves it. You meet a lot of neat people. You meet a lot of still a lot of guys in NASCAR. A lot of the drivers still have our product. Mm-hmm. So, and just sold your old one recently.
You did. You sold my old one.
Sold your old one. And in fact, your first Newell is here today getting service.
Oh, wow.
I was walking through, talking about going down memory lane. I was preparing for this, and I was kind of thinking, back to documentary and all that stuff. And I was walking through, I about walked into Coach 612, which was your very first Newell motorhome.
Damn, that's crazy.
So, but that's...
Well, what's next? What's next for you? I
know
you're hopefully not a lot's gonna change, but it's got to be something out there in front of you that you want to do. Right
now, I'm focused on my kids. It's like I said, I had a little bout with cancer, and it changed my life perspective a lot.
How so?
I'm a lot deeper in my faith now.
Yep.
And in fact, I had to delay watching the documentary because I was finishing this thing called The Chosen. And really just, I think my job now is do still good here at Newell, but raise my kids
Yeah.
the best and be a good father to them. I think that we all know a little bit past of that. I want to be that guy for my son and my daughter, and and be a good husband. I mean, we got married late in life. We had kids late in life. You did too. I mean, I got called my daughter's grandfather the other day. It was hilarious. Let me tell you about this one. This is a great story. So she's playing softball and she's getting pretty good. Well, it was a couple months ago. It started the season. I take her to her first practice, and the coach is walking around with the clipboard, and she's like, "Now you're Baylor's grandfather?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm her dad." She's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I'm like,
Damn it. Damn it.
I'm wearing a hat. I've gotten a little bald, a little more gray, but but really, just really wanting to be the family man. I think that even though we had a good time in our 20s and 30s, we still wanted, we knew that we wanted to become family men at one time. And I don't know, I still want to grow business wise and try new challenges there. But I think my ultimate challenge now is to be the best father I can be to my kids.
How old are your kids?
Bradford is 8 and Baylor's 9.
Yeah, we got a long ways to go.
Long ways to go. He's still in baseball right now, but he's going to try tackle football for the first time this year.
Oh boy!
Oh yeah,
that's a big deal.
Big deal. And Baylor is playing softball. She's in the cheerleading. So that's really it right now. I've been so blessed with everything, and to have my health really means so much to me. So I look at life in a lot different perspective. I've gotten better at like, for instance, when you do something great or something happens, I always want to text you. I know it might get on your nerves a little bit, but just to show how proud I am, because it used to be I might not be around, and what if I wasn't around and you didn't know how much I appreciated you?
Oh.
And how much I appreciate different things, like with, my mother and what all she's been through. Just a lot of neat things. And I help some people out with cancer. I think I want to do more with the cancer awareness, getting a colonoscopy. Yep. I wrote something I was pretty proud of on the Check It for Andretti, John Andretti's website, and kind of told my testimony a little bit. But
very good.
But yeah, I think that's my thing now. I spend a lot of time on the phone with people with that stuff and trying to carry out my faith a little bit more, and raising kids and selling RVs.
Man, I love it. I don't want to, discredit friendships that me and you both share with other people, but I would be hard pressed to name many that have enriched my life and affected my life the way that you have. We have been friends for a really long time, and man, when I needed a friend, you were always there. And I went through some, I wouldn't say tough times, but I went through some times where I had a ton of doubt. Yeah. And I felt, maybe not worthy, or I just kind of was struggling. And you are always a cheerleader and always in my corner, always. And man, I needed somebody like that in my life. And your heart is as golden as anyone I know. And everything that you've ever experienced or anything that I've ever, any kind of fortune that I've ever seen you go through, you've always had like the best intentions, which is remarkable. And I just, I appreciate your friendship, man. We have been boys for a long time, man. And I will do anything in the world for you because of what you've done for me and how you've made my life better. So I appreciate you giving us some time, and I'm glad people are getting to know your story. And I'm sure there's people that remember maybe hearing mentions of you or listen to our XM show back in the day and wonder what you've been up to. And, you're just as good as they come. So appreciate your time today, buddy.
Thank you, man. Same to you, too. I think that you don't get enough credit for how much you've done for me. I mean, it's hilarious. Not hilarious. It's amazing. I mean, not hilarious. I meant to say it's amazing that if something big in my life happens, good or bad, it's like I want Dale Jr. to know about it. I want to share it with him because I think that we've been through so much together. If I've ever had a struggle with just needing advice, we were always just there for each other. And you were, we're blessed to have a friend like that because not everybody does.
Yeah.
And I mean, so I'm glad we had it because we've been through some tough times. I know yours is well more public than what mine is, but you're still going through a very tough time. And I'm just glad I was that friend. And I will always be that friend for you because that's just
hell yeah.
who we are, I love you, bud.
Branded for life.
Branded for life. Multiple times, baby. Multiple times.
All right, buddy. Let's get a beer soon.
All right, let's do it. See you, bud.
All right. See you, pal. All right, so that's a great conversation with my buddy Josh Schneider, Snooter, as he's known around our parts. But he came in to do some of the Earnhardt interviews for that documentary on Prime, and he called me afterwards and he said, man, I just got done with my interviews and got really emotional, man. And it really made me think and reflect on our friendship, and just want to tell you how much I love you and how much I appreciate you. And so we thought, what the heck, man, let's get on here and talk about it. Let's talk about our friendship. We became friends out of pure happenstance. A lot of my friendships are connected to motorsports or connected to racing. Josh is one of the ones that really just happened really truly organically, and not many friendships that I have today can I say that about. A lot of things that are in my life are typically connected to motorsports or racing or NASCAR, but not Josh. Maybe that's why I love that friendship so much, is because I know that it's as genuine as it can be. And what a great guy. Do anything for you. We all of the people in our group would always say that's the guy that'll give you the shirt off his back right away anytime he helped anybody that needed it, even people that even a stranger on the street. So he just got a great heart. I always wanted to be around him because he made me better. Every time I was around him, I would feel like that his heart and the way he was as a person would rub off on me, and I would want to be like that. I would see him be generous or caring or thoughtful in a situation and go, man, what a great example. I will follow that example. So just a great dude. And man, we've had some fun. He is hilarious. So much fun to be around. Just funny, but, and a great beer drinking pal too, man. I didn't appreciate that enough. I'll say that. I'll say that, I love where I'm at in my life. I love what's happening to me today in my life. But I think back to when I was a bachelor, or when I was hanging out with Josh, and when we had all these freedoms to be able to wake up each day and go, what are we going to do? I didn't take advantage of that as much as I should have. I'm now sort of like, wishing that I had appreciated that even more than I did. But you're naive, you're young, and you just don't know. But one day you're going to get older. If you're now, Andrew's age, right? And you're Andrew and you got all these buddies around you, it ain't always going to be like this. Take it all in. Enjoy the experiences. If they call you up and say, hey, we're going down to the bar, or we're going to go to this concert, or we're going to go do this thing, go do the thing. Go do it. And, because they're going to they're searching for that family, they're searching for that someone just the same as you. And you're all going to find that. You're all going to go down that path, and that's going to be great. But what it is today will not be the same again. And so, that's kind of the moral of this story, I think, is like, we think we appreciate our friends. We think we're living in the moment, but I don't know that we're ever doing that as well as we could. But man, we had a lot of fun, and yeah, he's out in Oklahoma living his life. But we are as close as we've ever been, and like he said, we call each other up when we need something. We're that person for each other. So I appreciate everybody listening, and I hope you enjoyed it. Now, time for the white flag. All right, so the teardown came out this past Sunday after the race in Atlanta. Jordan and Jeff talking about the race. I'm sure they had a lot of great things to say. Be curious their take on our new TNT product as we're bringing the races to you through broadcasting on TNT over the next 5 weeks. And so Atlanta being the first race. Actions detrimental with Denny Hamlin came out as well. Denny had a tough race at Atlanta, but had some honest conversations about that accident on his show, which I thought was pretty neat. Dirty Air with TJ and myself came out yesterday. A lot of fun doing that show with TJ every week. And Herman Schrader are out today. And then tomorrow, Bless Your Heart with my wife, Amy. And don't forget, episode 5 of Becoming Earnhardt, the 1980 season, will be out this weekend on Sunday. 4 episodes are out now. You can listen to those if you haven't. I think you'll enjoy it. We're creating some awesome stuff, and Becoming Earnhardt, the new season, is one of them. That's the show. See you tomorrow with Amy on Bless Your Heart. Y'all take it easy.